Marseille's textile industry generates an impressive €2 billion a year. Does the city's image match its sartorial prowess? The Mediterranean House of Fashion is certainly doing its bit to help. The organisation exists to support the textile industry across Provence, the Alps and the Côte d'Azur. This year it's hosting the third edition of its Open My Med festival, whereby a designer gets to put on a number of exhibitions across Marseille.
There's no real separation or dichotomy between fashion and art, and what we've always wanted to do was to give someone carte blanche, to let them really focus on a specific field, be that music or video art, modern art or architecture. Every designer we've had so far, they've really been able to follow their hearts, whatever is the source of inspiration behind their collections.
Following in the footsteps of Marseille designers Yassine Ouadi and Simon Jacquemus, it's now Christelle Kocher's turn to take the reins. Unlike her predecessors, she didn't want to show her work in museums. She chose instead to invite a group of international artists to take over a shopping street.
We've created something that's more about what's being evoked, being felt. There are loads of little boutiques on the street, and they're all like little islands. They're so different from one another. We're trying to draw people's attention to something a bit challenging, something not too conspicuous. We are going more for an atmosphere than anything easy and headline-grabbing.
Kocher also wanted artists to show their work at Marseille's iconic J1 hangar. This former industrial site has become something of a cultural hub in recent years. Artist Morgane Schimber has been busy projecting sand onto its walls.
Why not? It's perhaps a rather primitive act. It's actually a pigment. It's also comprised of silicon, and that's really good for the body. People don't know it, but when you lie down on the beach, and here in Marseille that's something we do a lot, the silicon actually has physical benefits. It's an element that's very important in my work, so I decided to use it again here, and mixed with those sequins that also look like sand. That's how that work came together.
The festival's grand finale consisted of the unveiling of Christelle Kocher's cruise collection on a boat. It's a summer collection designed for those who spend the winter in the sun, all showcased by an array of unusual models.
They're people from Marseille. They're people who accepted my invitation. But they're also artists who took part in the Carte Blanche Sud Bébé exhibition. They're my team members. They also belong to a collective called The Community. There are also people who work on the boat.
And over there is Anissa, the exhibition's curator,
who agreed to take to the catwalk. Everyone's decided to take part. It's really beautiful. There's something very inclusive and generous about the brand. We're not just there to impose something. There's a real dialogue with people. And I find that really lovely. And I think that people here are really happy because they all feel part of it. Without them, it just wouldn't be the same. And it's because of them that we pulled this off.
Christelle Kocher named her first cruise collection Le Sud Bébé, a celebration of sun, sport and youth.
We really take time to explore the possibilities of our silhouettes, the label's sartorial codes. This is a continuity of what's come before, just with a slightly different point of view. One that's a little more pragmatic, wearable, but also one that tells stories. It's about poetry and emotion too.
Christelle Kocher is the definition of urban elegance. Comfortable clothes inspired by a variety of cultures. This jalabia is made of a high-tech sports fabric, decorated with fine embroidery.
There's this poetry, this softness. These frills and this tulle have all been printed with flower motifs, almost like they've been tattooed. And all these pieces have very feminine silhouettes. Thanks to Woolmark, we also have these jumpers that I partially hand-knitted. Then there's the weaving, the meshwork in these really luminous colors, like with that turquoise blue inspired by Marseille. There's also a lot of bright yellow. I wanted the message to be bright and positive.
Men and women take to the catwalk together, with women embracing the masculine side of things and men embracing the feminine.
It's great to see, because we don't want to be stuck in our gendered boxes. The thing as a whole is actually quite straight, so it's brilliant to have this openness and freedom, and that's beautiful.
Christelle Kocher is a historian of fashion, aware of what's come before to reinvent it for the future. A truly modern designer.